So the plan was to do my Blu-ray collection, to go over every single one that is on the shelf, which is I'm going to do now. But I'm going to do it shelf by shelf because I'm doing this on my tripod, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to maneuver it in such a small space. So we're going to start off at the start. So, right, first of all, there's a couple of discs on the top. Just a couple of easy throwaway movies that I watch when I'm not in the best of moods. They are Bad Mums and its sequel, Bad Mums Christmas, which is very, very good. £2. Not bad. Not bad at all. We also have... we also have the Batman animated collection, which has got Mystery of the Batwoman, Batman's Bad Blood, Under the Red Hood, Gotham Knight, and Year One. So far, I've only watched Under the Red Hood, and it's probably one of the best Batman films I've ever seen. Then we have the 1981 BBC version of Day of the Triffids. This is released for the first time on Blu-ray. I do have the DVD, but this is a vast improvement over that. And then we have the Wrath of Khan director's cut, which I have the box sets of all the original Star Wars movies, so that's what reason that's there. On the top above me, up here, there are more Blu-rays, which we will go through at some point, but at the moment I can't really get to them because I don't know if you can see, there is a ton, I'll tell you what, there is a ton of Funko Pops in the way. I say a ton, there's some Funko Pops in the way, but you can probably see there's the Danny Boyle collection, Back to the Future, Fast and Furious, Z Nation, Toy Story, X-Men, Kill Bill, some Marvel movies. Then there's American Sniper, Perfect Blue, which again isn't mine. In my video 3 years ago I said I need to watch it, still haven't watched it. Behind Biff and Axel is the Clint Eastwood collection, and then there's the Stanley Kubrick collection, a couple of steel books, Aliens, Grease 3 movie collection. I bought that specifically for Grease 2. And then the rest of my steelbooks, which is Magnificent Seven. Oh, these two steelbooks are Vanishing Point, Wanted. We've got the Magnificent Seven, Big Trouble in Little China, Scott Pilgrim, or is that Super 8? It's one of them. Oh, there's Scott Pilgrim. So that's Super 8. We've got Dick Tracy, Elysium, Evil Dead, Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead, The Rocketeer, and Scott Pilgrim. I'm not a big, not very big steelbook person, to be honest with you. I didn't really see the point in them. But first off, we've got this fantastic second sight release of the 1980s classic Flight of the Navigator. Absolutely gorgeous box set. Then we also have, next to that, we have the second sight Dawn of the Dead hard box collection. Again, another absolutely gorgeous collection. I don't have a 4K player in my bedroom, but I do have a 4K player downstairs. Dawn of the Dead is my favourite horror film of all time. Next to it, we have the Criterion release of Night of the Living Dead, the godfather, or the granddaddy of all of the zombie movies. Then we have Arrow's release, collector's edition release of Waterworld. Great film. Then, as you can see, we've got the complete Sartana collection from Arrow, the Vincent Price 6 Gothic Tales from Roger Corman, all based on Edgar Allan Poe stuff. Let me move these out of the way. That's a set of colouring in pencils. I say colouring in pencils, colour pencils. Then we have the Hellraiser box set, which has Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3. I think I paid like 20 quid for this on eBay, brand new. I'm not a fan of Hellraiser, but yeah, there we go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 collector's edition. Gorgeous box set. Shit film. Absolute shite film. And then let's move this across. Like I said, I'm on my tripod and it's not the easiest thing to maneuver. In fact, my shoes are in the way, so we'll move that now. So then we have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Arrow. These are all my Arrow releases now. So Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, that's still sealed. Then we've got the release of Ronin, one of my favourite films, one of my top 5 films of all time. Old Boy, Dawn of the Dead. I'm not going to bring these box out because they're a nightmare to go back in. So we got Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Demons. I did have Demons 2, but I lent that to someone in work about 3 years ago and I never got it back, which is sad. The Exterminator. Then we've got Maniac Cop, Red Scorpion, Vamp, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails, Deep Red, Tenebrae, and this one on the end here is The Beyond. Moving over, we have The Wild Geese, Who Dares Wins, Pit Stop by Jack Hill, George Romero's Night Riders, Toby Hooper's The Funhouse, and Zombie Flesh Eaters from Lucio Fulci. Then we've got Black Moon Rising, which was written by John Carpenter. De Palma's Blowout, Boondock Saints, Bride of Reanimator, The Burbs, The Car, Kofi, and Contamination. So let me pause that. So then we come down to this second shelf down, and continuing on the Arrow movies, we have George Romero's The Crazies, we have Delta Force, we have DEFCON 4, which is actually a pretty decent movie. I was quite surprised when I found out that Arrow releasing DEFCON 4. I can't even get it. I can't get in there. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do the top ones first. Arrival. The Exorcist. Then we have The Cabin in the Woods. E.T. So yeah, DEFCON 4, really, really cool, like 80s post-apocalypse movie. Sorry about the glare, there's a light bulb right above me, I could just cover it. Or, I can knock the light off. And we can go with... Nah, it doesn't really work, does it? But yeah, DEFCON 4 is a pretty cool film. Like most Arrow movies, it's got the reversible artwork on the inside. But I used to own I think it was Hollywood DVD of that. I say I used to, I still have it, it's in the cupboard somewhere. Then we've got Dress to Kill, Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill. Foxy Brown, The Fury, which is another Brian De Palma film, which is a very cool movie, a very underrated film, if you ask me. Fantastic score by John Williams as well. Stars, who's in it? Kurt Russell? No, not Kurt Russell. Kirk Douglas and John Cassavetes. Yeah, pretty cool movie. Then we have Wes Craven's The Hills of Eyes. House, I think this is the first one. Yeah, that's the first House. Wasn't really fussed on the rest of them. And we got In the Aftermath, which again is another pretty decent post-apocalypse movie, but this one is kind of well known for taking what was originally an anime movie called The Angel's Egg, which was made by Mamoru Oshii, who did Ghost in the Shell in like the 80s, and what they did is they filmed a load of live action stuff and then interspersed it with the animated scenes, well, the animation scenes from the anime, and put it all together to make this movie. I remember seeing this for the first time on a black and white television when I was about 6 and I was very ill, and I watched it late night on, I think it was Channel 4, and it's stuck in my brain the entire time. Yeah. So now I have this in a remastered version. Put it on. And yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. Right, so then we've got the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is a great film. I mean, don't get me wrong, the original is brilliant. But there's something slightly sinister, more sinister, I guess, about the 1978 remake, or 1979 remake. But yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is fantastic. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Then we have Lady Snowblood. Lady Snowblood, Love Secrets. Oh, Love Song of Vengeance. I think there's 2 on here. Yeah, Lady Snowblood, Love Song of Vengeance. And just Lady Snowblood. Pretty cool collection. That was one of the earlier releases from Arrow. Then we have Toby Hooper's Life Force. I love this film. Absolutely love this film. It's absolutely bonkers, like mental. Also, really nice cover as well. Showed my brother that for the first time last year, I think it was. I mean, he was like, "What the hell was that?" So just embrace it. Then we have Joe Dante's Matinee. Another really good, like, underrated 90s movie. Another underrated film by Joe Dante. So yeah, that's Matinee. Great performance by John Goodman as a sort of schlockmeister person who, a bit like the guy, well, he's based on William, forgot his name now, but he's the guy who did all like The Tingler and like 13 Ghosts and stuff like that back in the 60s. And House on Haunted Hill. Then we have, what I've skipped over, Miracle Mile. Absolutely fucking-tastic movie. Like, what would you do if you found out that there was going to be a nuclear strike on your city at like 2 a.m.? What would you do? It's a romance movie set against a race against time to avoid getting blown to pieces. Absolutely just unbelievably good film. Anthony Edwards is great in it. It's got Michael T. Williamson's in it. It's written and directed by Steve DeJarnette. Sorry. And yeah, it's just great. Absolutely fantastic film. Then we have one which is usually, move over a little bit, usually a subject that people seem to think is one of the greatest films of all time, but it's not. It's a bit shit, to be honest with you. It's Clive Barker's Nightbreed. Good makeup effects, but it's not that great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it was controversial because there is a more extended cut. This is a 120-minute director's cut, but there is another version of it. But yeah, I mean, it's overrated. This, on the other hand, is not. Night of the Comet. I fucking love this movie. I love this movie. It is probably one of the most 80s films you will ever come across. This and probably Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But yeah, Night of the Comet. Amazing. Great cast with Kelly Maroney, Catherine Mary Stewart, Jeffrey Lewis, I think it is, and the guy who plays Chakotay in Star Trek Voyager. And we have Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. Under the Stairs. Bonkers movie. Absolutely bonkers movie. Very cool, though. And this is one of the first Arrow films that I picked up on Blu-ray. It is The Phantom of the Paradise, which is a Brian De Palma movie, which came before Rocky Horror Picture Show and is incredible. Hugely underrated movie, just like ridiculously underrated. Fantastic songs written by Paul Williams. Just like fantastic. And this had Jessica Harper in it. I think this was before Suspiria. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, check this out. This is a rock musical that you want to watch. Then we have Don Coscarelli's Phantasm. I bought this for £4 on eBay. Nah, not really a fan. Quiet Earth. Probably one of the most amazing films I have ever seen. Just unbelievably good. I took a punt on this on a budget DVD that I paid $5.99 for because it had what was it? I think it had a Jupiter on the front, and there was like a city below it, and it just said The Quiet Earth. Didn't know anything about it. This was when I was working in Blockbuster. So we used to get this magazine. Well, this not a magazine, but it was a catalogue that we could do specific personal orders on. Not personal orders, but like special order for customers if they wanted to buy things. So we used to go through it, and I saw that there was this thing called The Quiet Earth, and I was like, I basically bought it on the image of the DVD cover. Knew nothing about it. This was probably 2005, 2006. I took a punt on it. Like I said, £6, special order, and now this is one of my favorite, like, post-apocalypse movies, I guess, ever. And it's just so good. And I'm so glad that Arrow released it. Then we have a David Cronenberg movie, which is Rabid. I'm trying to think. I always get Rabid and Shivers mixed up. I don't have Shivers. I was going to buy Shivers, but I think I ended up not getting it. This was also re-released. Oddly enough, I think this was re-released by 101 Films in their Black Label, which I thought was a bit odd considering Arrow released it at a certain time. Well, not that long ago, actually. Yeah, this is the one with the kind of sex parasite that turns everyone into, I suppose, zombies. Then we have Remo Williams with Fred Ward, the late Fred Ward. Do you know what? I have never seen this. I owned it for years and years and years, and I have never actually watched it. But I love Fred Ward because Tremors, which I don't have the Arrow release. And it's also got Kate Mulgrew in it from Star Trek Voyager. Again, there's a lot of Voyager references for some reason. Then we have one of my all-time favourite movies. It is RoboCop, directed by... I was going to say directed by Peter Weller, but it wasn't. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven. Starring Peter Weller and starring Ronnie Cox and Nancy Allen and Miguel Ferrer, and I can't even remember who that is. Dan O'Hurley. And Kurtwood Smith, who plays the villain, Clarence Boddicker, who is also Red Foreman, who will put a foot in your ass. That's RoboCop. I love RoboCop. And then we have one of the most overrated films ever made from the 70s. Everyone's like, oh, it's Rollerballs, this amazing movie. No, it's boring. It is fucking boring. Let's move this over a little bit. Right, we are coming to the end of the arrows. Remove the top stuff across. I will go through the top stuff in a minute. Then we have Pam Grier in Sheba Baby. You know what I mean, man. It's a Sheba Baby. It's a blaxploitation movie from the 1970s. Directed by William Girdler. Starring D'Urville Martin as pilot. Austin Stoker as well from the Assault on Precinct 13. Haven't watched that yet. I bought that in a sale not so long ago. Then we have The Stuff from Larry Cohen. Great movie. Just bonkers. Just good. Watch it. The Stuff's amazing. Another very cool, very underrated action movie is Runaway Train, starring John Voight, Eric Roberts, and Rebecca De Mornay. Also has Danny Trejo in it. This is infamous for starting... I say infamous. This is famous for starting off Danny Trejo's acting career. I suppose you could say that. I think it's based on a book. It's directed by Andrei Konchalovsky. But I want to say it's based on a book by Eddie Bunker. Because I know Eddie Bunker's in it. Oh, it was written. The screenplay was co-written with Eddie Bunker, but it was based on a story, on a screenplay by Akira Kurosawa. We have a Terry Gilliam movie, Time Bandits, cool movie. And then probably the greatest neo-noir movie you will ever watch is Thief, from Michael Mann, starring James Caan. Just unbelievable parallels of like just badassness. James Caan's amazing in this. Michael Mann is such a good director. Gave us Heat. Then we have, I put one in the wrong place. Oh god, I'm cocking this up now. Then we have my second favorite horror movie of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing. I've talked about, well, a lot of people have talked about The Thing. It's fucking amazing. Just straight up fucking amazing. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to say more about The Thing. It's just amazing. Then we have William Friedkin's To Live and Die in LA. Awesome film. And then the final arrow on the shelves is Zardos from 1977, I think it is, or 1973. It's directed by John Borman, who directed Deliverance, that's the one, starring Sean Connery in a red nappy. So Zardos is great. Zardos is weird. It's very 70s, but it's very good. So that's the Arrow releases. I'll do the top shelves, the stacked on the top stuff first, before I do the. Well, I'll tell you, I'll just do this. Right. So we've got the Arrow Academy releases first. So we have Ernest Hemingway's The Killers. This is the 1960s version with Lee Marvin and Clu Gulager. It was originally made as a TV movie, but they found it to be too violent for TV. Then we have Stanley Kubrick's The Killing. One of the best heist movies you will ever watch. And we have Robert Altman's The Long Goodbye, which is a film noir set in the 70s with Elliot Gould as Philip Marlowe. It's very cool. It's a pretty decent movie. It's got Sterling Hayden in it as an old guy. The Night of the Hunter, only film directed by, I want to say Charles Lawton. Yeah, only film directed by Charles Lawton, starring Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters. This is a mean, evil movie, but also so incredibly good. And then the Arrow Academy finale is Sullivan's Travels. So, before we move on to the Eureka Masters of Cinema releases, let's move the top stuff across, which I said I will go through, and I will. So first off, we have Silent Runnings, directed by Douglas Trumbull, and starring Bruce Dern. This is a very good sci-fi movie. Has a eco kind of message running behind it. That looks stunning. Touch of Evil, starring Orson Welles, but also starring Charlton Heston. This is an incredible movie, just like incredible. Another incredible movie is coming up in a sec, but we have the original Island of Lost. Is it original Island of Lost Souls? It was apparently originally rejected by the BBFC on its initial release for being against nature, but it's not. It's Island of Lost Souls, which is essentially Island of Dr. Moreau. This is directed by Earl C. Kenton, starring Charles Lawton, director of Night of the Hunter, Bela Lugosi, Richard Allam, and The Panther Woman. This was made in 1932. It is 71 minutes long. Yeah, it's all right. Now, one of the greatest film noir movies ever made, everybody will agree. It is Double Indemnity. Just incredible film by Billy Wilder. Yeah, Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. Just, what can I say apart from one of the greatest film noir movies of all time? Just, yeah, watch it, get it, buy it, love it. And we have White Dog by Samuel Fuller. Never seen it. Can't tell you much about it. Harold and Maude by Hal Ashby, starring Ruth Gordon and Bud Cort. I actually quite like this film. I think it's very cute. But the only reason I bought this film was because of There's Something About Mary, and how it's the favourite film of Mary and Matt Dillon's so-called character. But yeah, Harold and Maude. Yeah, it's a cute movie. Aussie movie now made in Wake of Fright, starring I think Donald Pleasance is in this. but it's directed by Ted Kotcheff, who directed, I want to say, Rambo First Blood, but I might be mistaken. I think he did. Then we have Violent Saturday, another 1950s sort of film noir crime thriller starring Victor Mature, Stephen McNally, and obviously Lee Marvin is in that as well. That's pretty cool. Now, this is a film I watched a lot when I was a child. It is The Journey to the Centre of the Earth. This is starring Pat Boone, James Mason, and Arlene Dahl. I fucking love this movie. This was one of the films I watched a lot when I was a kid. This and George Pal's Time Machine, which gave me my love for like classic science fiction and classic fantasy fiction, sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, I love it. Still quote it today with my mum. Gander and Hess. I've had this for a while. Never actually watched it, but I believe it's a vampire film. And then we have Jackie Chan in Police Story 1 and 2. I thought this came in a box set, but no, it came in a 2-disc collection, which kind of annoyed me because I thought it was a box set. But that's it. Fucking awesome films. And we have Enemy Mine, starring Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. Great, absolutely underrated science fiction film from Wolfgang Peterson, should I say, director of the Never-Ending Story and many, many more. Just great science fiction film. I love this movie. Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. give absolute tremendous performances. I don't know how like Lou Gossett Jr. manages it in all that makeup, but it's stunning. And then the final of the Eureka Masters of Cinema, which is an odd release considering the other ones I've just shown, is Night of the Creeps. Again, another absolutely fantastic movie, written and directed by Fred Decker, who did, what's that film? I can't remember now. Monster Squad, which was co-written by Shane Black. Night of the Creeps is amazing. It's got good performances by the main character and the woman who plays his girlfriend. I think it's Jason Lively. I cannot remember. Jill Whitlow, there we go. But the whole film is stolen by Tom Atkins as the police detective who's on the case of the zombies. Incredible film. Love it. I've got the US Blu-ray, I think, somewhere. Well, I might have sold it. I can't remember. So that's the top 2 shelves. That is the Arrow and Eureka collection. This video is now running 27 minutes. So I'm going to do the next 2 shelves. Right, so apologies, because I did say I was going to do the stuff that was on the top, but I forgot. So I'll do them quickly now. First up, we've got Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise, in one of the worst Blu-ray cases ever made. It's horrendous. I hate it. I want it to die. I don't know why I bought it. I think it was because it looked fancy. Awesome film. Oblivion, directed by Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick. But yeah, I hate this case. It doesn't fit on the shelf and I've got nowhere to put it. And then we have the Clint Eastwood collection, which has got Pale Rider, The Outlaw Josie Wales, and Unforgiven. Out of the 3 movies, I'd say Unforgiven is quite possibly one of the, if not the greatest Western ever made. Unforgiven is just incredible. Then we have Bullet, starring Steve McQueen. Very cool movie. Has the famous San Francisco car chase movie. The rest of the film is a little bit boring, but Steve McQueen is a total absolute badass in that film. Next up, we've got another Eureka film, which I totally forgot about. Shogun Assassin. It did fit on the shelves, but I must have taken it out because it's a thin case and I couldn't fit it in with the rest of it. But yeah, Shogun Assassin is pretty cool. This is the proper version of Shogun Assassin, which I think is the first 2 or 3 Lone Wolf and Cub movies edited together with American voiceovers. But yeah, it's pretty cool. From Eureka Masters of Cinema. I do actually own all of the Lone Wolf and Cub films on DVD, which I think are either in DVD Corner or in storage at the moment. I'm not sure. But yeah, Shogun Assassin's pretty cool. Then we have, excuse me, Psychomania from the BFI collection. I bought this off someone on Facebook, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, so I can't really tell you much about it, other than it's got zombies apparently in it. I have no idea. It's about a biker gang. But then we have Apocalypse Now, Francis Ford Coppola's epic Vietnam War movie. It's a great film. It's slow, and I find it a film that's a bit of a chore to watch now and then, but this is a great collection. This is a lovely box. This is released from Optimum, the Studio Canal. Optimum doesn't exist anymore, at least I don't think they do. But yeah, I picked this up. I picked this up second hand, and it's, I think, from CEX. My brother grabbed it for me in work. So yeah, that's Apocalypse Now. Then we have, we have a US release, which is Deep Rising and Puppet Masters. I love both of these films, but I can't remember if this is it says region A, but I do believe it's all region. But I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to test it out. I don't have a multi-region Blu-ray player anymore. Come to think of it, I worked this out the other day. I've got about 600 DVDs from America, and I've got no way of playing them now because I don't have a multi-region DVD player. The only thing that I use to watch movies on is my Xbox One and streaming. But yeah, I love both these movies. Deep Rising is incredible. It's so underrated. Puppet Masters is good, but it could have been better. I'm not going to show you that one because that's not mine. It's just Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's crap. Then we have RoboCop, the unrated director's cut. You will see multiple different releases of RoboCop throughout this look at my DVD collection. This is the director's cut from Region 1. I think this is Region A. But again, I think this is actually multi-regional. I'm not 100% sure. But that's the RoboCop. And finally, on the top, we have Burt Reynolds in White Lightning. I'm going to have to get a multi-region Blu-ray player again because I tried to sell this. And then I just thought, you know what? I might one day get another multi-region Blu-ray player. Or a Blu-ray player that I can hack and put to Region A. So yeah, this is the Kino Lorber release, the Kino Classic Studio Classics, which I did have a few of, but I sold the others. I think there might be one or two left. But White Lightning is a great film. Gator, which is the sequel, came out in the early 80s or very, very late 70s, but it doesn't hold a candle to White Lightning. White Lightning's cool. So that is that shelf. Now I'm going to pause and I'm going to drop us down to the next level. So we're on the next two shelves down. First off, we're going to do the stuff on the top, get this lot out of the way. So first of all, we've got Deliver Us from Evil. It's shit. Prometheus, the prequel of some sort to Aliens. Then we have Gregory Hines in The Eve of Destruction. Actually, not a bad movie. The Stallone and Schwarzenegger prison movie, Escape Plan. And we have Drive. The Equalizer, starring Denzel Washington. And finally, we have Live, Die, Repeat, which is a stupid name because it's called Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know why they did this, Live, Die, Repeat. Edge of Tomorrow is a perfectly good fucking title. They didn't have to faff about. Right, so then we've got the box set collection of the Universal Monsters collection, which is a really, really nice box set. I think I bought this when it was on offer. I think I paid like 16 quid for it. Very nice film. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got 8 films in it. That is Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Invisible Man, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Which I wouldn't have put Creature from the Black Lagoon in that box set. I know it's classed as Universal Monsters, but I'd say like the previous ones are horror movies, and Creature from the Black Lagoon is called sort of more of a like sci-fi creature feature. Then we have The Conjuring, a film I have yet to watch. And then we've got so we've got Battlestar Galactica, Season 1. There is a Season 2 somewhere. But there's Battlestar Galactica Season 3. Season 4. And the final season, which is also Season 4. The whole Battlestar Galactica box set thing was payment for a piece of artwork that I did for my friend. Then we've got Sons of Anarchy Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, and Season 5. I do have Season 1, but not on Blu-ray. Then we have Dirty Dancing 30th Anniversary Collector's Edition. Love this film. Yes, I am a straight male. George A. Romero's Survival of the Dead. Sadly, Romero's last movie, and possibly his worst. But, it's alright. It's not bad. Troll Hunter, good film, good Norwegian horror, sort of horror movie. Luc Besson's The Family, starring Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Tommy Lee Jones. Actually, really good film. And then we have the Dark Knight and Batman Begins collection with the Dark Knight Rises Blu-ray. So that is all the top shelf stacks. And we will work our way down now. Right, so first off, this little section right by here, sorry about the lighting, is the Warner Brothers premiere collection from HMV, which has got some fantastic movies in it. I'm not buying all of them because there's only certain films that I want, and I'm not made of money, so I'm not buying them all. So first off, we've got Excalibur. Which is number 13, apparently. Next to that, which is still sealed because I bought it very recently, is 2010, the year we made contact, which is the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Next to that, we've got Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans, mate. Clash of the Titans and 80s awesomeness in the shape of Krull. I love Krull. I do have a US Mill Creek Blu-ray release of this, but this one was the first ever UK release, but it's got the wrong aspect ratio on it. So, but the Mill Creek US Blu-ray has the correct aspect ratio, which is weird because this is released by Warner Brothers, who originally made the film. Next, we have one of my favourite sci-fi films of the 70s. We have Logan's Run with the fantastic original artwork, which I also have a framed poster of on my, A4 poster on my wall. Next to that, we have Outland, starring Sean Connery. Absolutely incredible film. Love that movie. I watch it when I'm ill. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel drawn to watching Outland and Fled when I'm ill. I don't know why. Next to that, we have The Yakuza, written by Paul Schrader's brother and Paul Schrader, and directed by, I can't remember his name now. Stanley yes, Sydney Pollack, sorry. This film is badass. It's got, my head's gone shot. My head's shot. I'm gone completely. Robert Mitchum, that's his name. Robert Mitchum and Brian Keith and Takakura Ken. This film is also badass. I do have the poster framed, well, upside down. It was framed. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. But it fell off the wall. So that's the Yakuza. I love this film. It's very badass. The next one is the original The Thing from Another World. Again, this is still sealed because, again, I bought this. These next three I bought literally within like the last 3 weeks or so. So we got The Thing, which is the original 1951, I think it is, version. Directed by Howard Hawks and starring James Arnett as The Thing. Awesome film. Next one is George Pal's The Time Machine. I also already have this on Blu-ray, but I have a Region 1, I say Region 1, it's a US Blu-ray, but I kind of like this artwork better than the other artwork, so that's why I bought this one. There's 2 for 15 quid, so I'm not going to moan. Then we have The Hidden. Awesome movie. Massively underrated film. Just so good. So that's the Warner Brothers Premiere Collection. This is now, we're going to go into the Film 101 collection. But before I do that, here's just 3, should I say. We have Ash versus the Evil Dead, seasons 1, 2, and 3. The original BBC Quatermass and the Pit from early 1950s. These have been remastered and look actually pretty good. And the first and only numbered collection edition, I think, that I own from the Black Label is Walter Hill's Trespass. Cool movie, cool action film. So then, first off, we've got Class of 1984. Screamers. Cool film. Johnny Mnemonic. Not a cool film, but it was on sale for like 7 quid, so I bought it. Next up, we have Alien Nation. One of my all-time favorite comedies. Basketball. This film's so good. Very underrated slasher film. Cherry Falls, starring the late Brittany Murphy. And then this is a film my mum put me onto because she could remember it from when she was younger. It's A Crack in the World, which I bought the US Blu-ray for Crack in the World, and then 101 Films released this on. I bought the DVD from America, and then 101 released this on Blu-ray. So I was like, I've got to have that. It's a good film. Then we have the collection of the FX movies starring Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy, the Bryans. Brian. Love FX. Awesome films. And we have Into the Night, starring Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer. This is still sealed. I've never watched it, but I will at some point. I work full time, so I can't watch everything. Nightmares, which is an anthology series, which has got 4 films in it. 4 short stories on it. It's pretty cool. Another sealed one is Paradise Alley, starring Sylvester Stallone. I think. Yeah, Stallone wrote and directed this. I think this is the first film that he wrote and directed. I'm not sure. It might be Fist. If he directed Fist, I'm not sure. Then we have Runaway, starring Tom Selleck. A very cool film based on a Michael Crichton story and directed by Michael Crichton. Yeah. Tom Selleck in Runaway with Cynthia Rhodes and Gene Simmons. and Kirstie Alley and Stan Shaw. Jerry Goldsmith did the music about little robots, and Tom Selleck being Tom Selleck. A great film from the 1980s, Space Hunter, The Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Again, I owned this on Region 1 DVD, but I had a flood in a cupboard from where we keep the airing cupboard. I had a box of DVDs at the bottom, and the case just got ruined. But this is the Blu-ray, and it's very cool. Cheap movie, awesome film. Next up, we have action movie extravaganza, Stone Cold, starring Brian the Boz Bosworth and Lance Henriksen. This is a cool movie. I own this on DVD. I bought the DVD from Germany, and it came, and there was no English audio. There was not even English subtitles. Then we have Tarantula. Getting into the 50s B movies now. Big Giant Spider. And we've got 2 Minute Warning, starring Charlton Heston and John Cassavetes. Pretty cool film. Sorry about the shadow. I'm trying not to cast too much shadow on it, but keep the glare off. Pretty cool. What we'll do, we'll move it across. Then we've got The Lost World, starring Michael Rennie, Jill St. John, and It, The Terror from Beyond Space, which was the basis for Ridley Scott's Alien, I guess you could say. And then we've got a film I haven't watched yet, but I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Dolls by Stuart Gordon. Lord of Illusion, Clive Barker's. It's got the director's cut, but it's not in HD. It's only the theatrical cut in HD. Then we have the Nemesis collection. The complete box set contains all 4 movies. The first one's good, the rest are shit. Solar Warriors, or if you're from America, Solar Babies. Solar Warriors is a better name. This film is just one of the coolest films I ever watched when I was a kid. Now when I watch it, it's awful, but it has a sort of lovable charm to it. And then we have Toy Soldiers, Lou Gossett Jr. This was actually a gift from 101 Films, because they sent me a review copy of the Blu-ray, and I reviewed it, and I said how much I love the film, and I thought that this was a really good upgrade, and I like the fact that a film like this, which when you think about it at the time, well, a film like this you don't really tend to see get released on Blu-ray, because it's a fun movie, and because I gave it a positive review, they sent me this, which was nice. This is like months afterwards, which was really nice. So I wasn't paid to give them a good review, because I would never give anything a good review in lieu of a payment, because all my reviews were, I'll tell you if a film's good, or I'll tell you if a film's bad, like I've done so far today. But yeah, that was quite nice. That's why it's still sealed, because I haven't watched it since they reviewed it. Then we've got the Van Damme collection, which has got AWOL, Death Warrant, and Black Eagle. Death Warrant is the only decent film in that collection. So, that is the 101 Films collection. Blah, blah, blah. And now we're going to do my Powerhouse Indicator movies, where we'll start off, alright, the first 3, 1, 2, 3, are the releases of the John Carpenter movies. So the first one being Ghost from Mars. I watched Ghost from Mars again not so long ago. It's not a good film, but it's a fun movie. Yeah, it's not a good film. However, upon reflection, John Carpenter's Vampires is a good film. I think it's an underrated film. But none of them are as good as Christine, based on a Stephen King novel, with the killer car. It's amazing. Not my favourite John Carpenter movie, that would be the thing. Then we have another... This is actually written by John Carpenter. The Eyes of Laura Mars. This is quite a recent purchase. I got it in the 5 for 40, I think it was. Or 3 for 30. I can't remember. It might even be 3 for 20, I'm not sure. But I haven't watched that yet. I also picked up Road Games. Now, Road Games is fantastic. If you've never seen Road Games, I highly recommend checking out Road Games. It's Stacey Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis. And it's a road movie with a twist. It's very cool. It's Australian. This is a film I've wanted to watch for a while. This is The New Centurion, starring George C. Scott and Stacey Keach. I'm a bit of a fan of Stacey Keach, actually. I quite like him. Yeah, Richard Fleischer directed that one. Then we have It Came From Beneath the Sea, which is not, you might think, a sequel to It, The Terror from Beyond Space, or It, The Clown. This is something to do with Ray Harryhausen. Yeah, Ray Harryhausen. This is a 1950s sci-fi. A 1960s sci-fi now, starring Oliver Reed, is The Damned. Or We Are the Damned, depending where you're from. Yeah, that's a pretty cool film. This is not a very good film, but it has a serious charm to it. It is Norman J. Warren's Insemnoid. It's not very good. It's an Alien ripoff, but this Blu-ray looks fantastic. Then we have H.G. Wells' First Men in the Moon. Great classic sci-fi movie. Let me move this back. Give it a bit more space. Great, like classic sci-fi movie. What else have we got? Oh no, I put that in the wrong place. And then we've got one I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. Is Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. Very cool movie. I love the artwork that they use on the front of this. Like, the original artwork is just so nice. And we have a Michael Winner movie. Another one of his starring Charles Bronson. We have The Stone Killer. Now, being an idiot, I forgot I had that. So I bought an extra one. So now I have 2 copies of The Stone Killer. I don't really know what to do with it. Both of them are sealed as well. So I'll probably try and sell that on. We have The Night of the Demon. Not the 80s one with Linnea Quigley. Whatever the fuck her name is. This one's pretty cool. And finally we have Jack Nicholson in The Border. I haven't watched this yet. But it's got Harvey Keitel in it as well, and Warren Oates. And it's directed by Tony Richardson. So that is The Border. So that is my... What is that? That is the classic premiere collection, the 101 films, and my Powerhouse collection. What I might do quickly before I stop this video, because again we're on 25 minutes, is just show you some of these, and again more boutique-y releases than actual straight up just single movie DVDs. So because I don't want to do a whole video on each shelf. Well, I was trying to do a whole video on each shelf. But these Blu-rays are from Signal One Entertainment. So the first one is Cherry 2000, starring Melanie Griffiths. Written and directed by Steve DeJarnette, who wrote and directed Miracle Mile. This is a really cool, funny, action-packed post-apocalyptic movie. Then we have Eyewitness, starring William Hurt, the late William Hurt, Sigourney Weaver, and the late Christopher Plummer. And then we have The Last Embrace, with Janet Margolin and Roy Scheider. This is sealed, I haven't watched it yet. Next up, we have Hudson Hawk, starring Bruce Willis. This is a great film. Don't listen to what the haters say. It's awesome. We have The Earth Dies Screaming, directed by Val Guest, and starring Willard Parker. Is it Val Guest? No, it wasn't. It was Terence Fisher. Oh my god. I look like a fool. I love Earth Dies Screaming. It's short. It's like 65 minutes long. It's cheesy, but it looks awesome. And then we've got Damnation Alley, which was a massive flop when it came out because it was supposed to be this big budget, like, expensive, high octane, post-apocalyptic thriller. But it came out and just went down the toilet. It flopped massively. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's cheesy, but I'll watch anything that's post-apocalyptic. So that is my Signal 1 collection. And that is basically that shelf there. That whole shelf is now done and dusted, mate. I will continue to do the shelves, but this is about an hour long and I've only covered 3 shelves on this section. So thanks for watching and look forward to the next 3 shelves of how long I fucking take to do these things. Peace. Boop.